Howdy, folks. This is Proctor over in the Midwest. I've been so busy. Work. Tell me about it. Here's what I'm going to tell you. From the past few days, when I was driving, because I drive a Dodge Ram Caravan, basically a 2013 model, and so I would think that you would know there's a common issue to it: the transmission. Jitters, joint, and basically feels like a rumble strip when it tries to shift. Yeah, that's for me what it felt like yesterday, because basically I think I was getting off the no 2 days ago. So basically 2 days ago when I was coming home, I was basically getting off at 255. Yeah, it was back shifting and rumbling like a rumble strip. You know how that feels like, right? Yeah, it feels like that. But and none other else. Also the big joint, like it's basically like a tiny whiplash, but instead it's doing it to the transmission. Everybody just says that it's a common issue, but basically, what I think it is, it's the software that those vans have a software that conducts when you're actually shifting, because it doesn't really have like a long shifter because of how tall the van is and how far the shifter stick is. Basically, I think it's like a electronic shifter. So when you're going into reverse, the computer will tell it to reverse it. So put it in reverse. So it's not a long stick at all. It's just an electronic shifter, but it's just a regular van. And so, other else, let's also say that, okay, so it doesn't always happen when you're going to reverse, but when you put it from reverse or from park to drive, it creates a big thump, and I don't like that sometimes. I always think that it would actually slip one day and you won't be able to drive at all. Because then your gears would lock up. But it does have a little transmission to it, which I don't think that would have been a good transmission for a van. I would have actually created a whole different transmission for it for fuel efficient savings. Because for the fact that it does get connect it for the fact that it is connected to a V6, is that the right transmission to put on it? To them, yes, but to us, it's kind of like a maybe because of all the thuns, clunks, and also jittering. And so you're gonna get all of that when it's trying to shift, but all the computer needs to do is reset. But does resetting the transmission code always work? Yes and no. Sometimes it will reset the whole transmission. Sometimes it won't. Like, like in one review, took it to a Dodge dealership. They reset the code. Yeah, it didn't do it for a month, but then it did it again. But is there a fix to it? Who knows? Because I don't think there was a recall for that. No. Because every place say that it's normal. It's not normal for it to be shunting hard while trying to shift. I think that the gears are a little bit out of line to where if it actually tries to shift, then it's rubbing against the gear and it basically forces it to move. Then that creates a big old joint. big old bun. And so that's when you know it has to move that gear in order for it to be in place so that it can start moving. Because there's basically a parking gear, there's a reverse gear, which is gear 1, and there is the six drive gears. I actually want you guys to think about this, all of you van guys. Because I've been having problems with this ever since I drive it. But before I driven my truck, I was driving this van first. So I've driven this van longer than I have driven my truck. Now, my truck didn't have problem with its engine nor transmission. But, I don't know if I told you guys that the only reason why I had to get rid of that truck, the units for the headlights basically burnt out. And so it burnt the wiring and the units. And so I would have to replace the wire and the units for both sides. Which, that's not what we were going to do. Alright, back to the van. So, I want you guys to think, like, what would be the best solution to actually fix the transmission? I mean, the number one answer we only have right now is resetting the transmission coding, which is basically on there right now. I mean, because, you know, somebody with a Mercedes, I'm basically going to just say this, somebody with a Mercedes, it's a 2002, he figured out how to change his transmission coding, reset it, and he said that he will have to do this every month. But he also said that he would have to drive it for at least 10 minutes for it to reset, so that it would drive his way. That's not the case for the van, because it's basically all electronic. You have to go into your settings on the van. Not on your dashboard, but with a remote. Like a remote connector connecting into the van. Like how they do the emissions testing. You have to connect to that. So you have to connect to that, go to your transmission, go to your code, you would have to reset. But then also what I think, you also have to drive it in order for it to make sure that it's driving correctly afterwards. And make sure that it's not going to slip. The life of a Dodge van driver, I tell you what. I want you guys to tell me about your story, because I hear all the stories and my problems are the same as theirs. Don't be afraid to speak out. Oh. And my van is literally at 115,000. Hit it not too long ago. So I want you guys to tell me your story about it. You van guys. If you want to leave a comment on the video, I'm not forcing you. It's your decision. Same with subscribing. Your decision also. And I hope that you guys have a great day. Stay safe out there.